what you've done with the place.
You got 5 seconds to tell me why I shouldn't stuff you in a dumpster.
Gentlemen, rejoice. I'm here to join.
You couldn't get anywhere near the door. Not unless you had like bodyguards or whatever, they were doing the thing. And I don't really roll like that. Like I kind of, I generally...
Nobody really knew what we were going through behind the scenes. The smile you saw in front of the cameras often hid tears shed just minutes before. This confession from Jaleel White, the actor who portrayed Steve Urkel, reveals merely the tip of the iceberg of the hidden struggles that were taking place while one of America's most beloved sitcoms entered the homes of millions of viewers. Are you enjoying this story? Family Matters 1989? Then help the channel with your subscription. Look, 94.8% of the people who watch these videos are still not subscribed to the channel. If you are part of that group, take the chance and subscribe now. It's free, and that way you'll keep receiving amazing stories from TV shows we still miss. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one. Family Matters wasn't just a series about a middle-class African-American family. It was a creative battleground where careers were made and destroyed, where America's racial tensions manifested within the studio walls, and where an initially secondary character would completely transform the show. And the truth is more shocking than you could have imagined. When Family Matters premiered on September 22, 1989, as a spin-off of Perfect Strangers, no one could have predicted its lasting impact. Created as a vehicle for Jaleel White and Reginald VelJohnson, the series was intended to tell the story of the Winslow family: Carl, a dedicated police officer, his wife Harriet, and their 3 children. In the offices of ABC and production company Miller Boyett, internal documents reveal that executives considered the show a safe bet, but without great expectations. Just another addition to the TGIF, Thank God It's Friday, programming block. What no one knew was that a seemingly minor decision in the 9th episode would change everything. Steve Urkel was conceived as a 1-episode character. Jaleel White, then only 12 years old, had previously auditioned for the role of Rudy Huxtable on The Cosby Show, a role that eventually went to Keisha Knight Pulliam when the character became female. Recently revealed production documents show that White almost didn't get the Urkel role because producers were concerned about his lighter skin tone compared to the rest of the cast. There were open discussions about whether a lighter-skinned boy would be accepted as part of the Winslow's world, confessed a production assistant on a recent podcast. When White first stepped onto the set wearing those iconic suspenders and enormous glasses, the studio audience's reaction was so explosive that filming had to be paused for nearly 5 minutes. Urkel's success created an immediate division within the cast. While the character captured the audience's attention, the main actors saw their importance in the narrative diminish episode after episode. Jo Marie Payton, who played Harriet Winslow, shared years later, "We signed on for a show about a black family, and suddenly we were in the Steve Urkel show." Tensions escalated when the character Judy, the Winslow's youngest daughter played by Jamie Foxworth, simply disappeared after the 4th season without any explanation in the script. Internal financial records reveal that while White's salary increased exponentially, reaching $100,000 per episode, some original cast members struggled to secure modest raises. I remember walking into the writer's room one day and seeing a whiteboard with episode ideas, recalled Thelma Hopkins, who played Rachel. Out of 20 ideas listed, 15 centered around Urkel schemes. That's when I knew our family show had fundamentally changed. This shift wasn't just about screen time. It represented a deeper conflict about black representation on television. Darius McCrary later revealed in an unpublished memoir that several cast members had approached producers about ensuring the show maintained its focus on authentic black family experiences, only to be told that Urkel is what the audience wants. A little-known scandal occurred during the 5th season when black writers on the team created an episode exploring police brutality through Carl Winslow's character. The script, titled Badge of Dishonor, showed Carl confronting a racist partner. ABC executives vetoed the episode just 3 days before filming, generating an internal conflict that led to the dismissal of 2 writers.
They wanted us to keep everything light and fun, but we were trying to say something meaningful.
revealed one of the writers in an interview with an obscure television magazine. Reginald VelJohnson, who played Carl, later admitted that this incident was his biggest disappointment during the show's run. As a black officer on a popular show, I felt we had a responsibility to address these issues, but the network wasn't ready for that conversation. As the series progressed, demands for more Urkel intensified. Writers, pressured by executives, created bizarre alternatives like Stephen Urkel, Steve's charming alter ego, Urkelbot, a robot, and even Bruce Lee Urkel. Production documents show that Jaleel White threatened to leave the series several times, exhausted by the exaggerated characterization. I was 18 playing a 15-year-old nerd, and I was starting to worry about my post-Urkel career, White confessed in a rare moment of vulnerability during an interview with Rolling Stone magazine. Behind closed doors, White had pitched more dramatic storylines for his character, including one about Steve confronting racism at a science competition. But these ideas were consistently rejected in favor of more slapstick scenarios. The family dynamics on set were complicated further by the treatment of younger cast members. Kelly Shine Williams, who played Laura, shared in a 2018 interview, "We were children trying to grow up in this bizarre environment where one day you're the focus and the next day you're essentially an extra in your own show. It created a strange competitive atmosphere that wasn't healthy." This environment was particularly difficult for Jamie Foxworth, whose character's unexplained disappearance led to personal struggles after leaving the show. A production assistant later revealed that the young actress was simply told her services were no longer needed, with no proper explanation or farewell episode. The show's move from ABC to CBS in the 9th season marked the beginning of the end. Ratings were falling, and Jo Marie Payton surprisingly left the series in the middle of the final season, being replaced by Judy Ann Elder. What few people know is that her departure was preceded by a confrontation with executive producers about the direction of the series. "I felt we were betraying the original purpose of the show," Payton said. "Once I was asked if I could act more black in a scene. That was the moment I realized I needed to leave." Court documents later revealed that Payton had filed complaints about workplace treatment years before her departure, specifically noting incidents where black cast members' input on cultural authenticity was dismissed. The show's creative direction in later seasons became increasingly desperate. Writers' room notes obtained through a former staff member show concepts that never made it to screen, including a proposed storyline where Steve would travel through time, meeting black historical figures. "There was a sense of throwing anything at the wall to see what would stick," the former writer explained. "We'd gone from a grounded family sitcom to science fiction territory, and it felt like we had lost our compass." When Family Matters ended after 9 seasons in 1998, it left a complicated legacy. Although it was one of the longest-running series with a predominantly black cast, many involved questioned the cost of that longevity. Darius McCrary, who played Eddie Winslow, struggled with mental health issues after the show ended. "I spent my entire adolescence as a character who was constantly in the shadow of another. That affects your identity in ways you don't even realize until years later," he revealed in a documentary about child actors. Meanwhile, White faced the challenge of escaping the Urkel typecast, turning down opportunities that would have pigeonholed him in similar roles, and fighting for recognition as a versatile actor. The true legacy of Family Matters may be how the show inadvertently exposed the contradictions of black representation on American television. It began as an authentic celebration of a middle-class black family, and transformed into a vehicle for a stereotypical character. However, it also opened doors for a generation of black actors and creators. As Jaleel White reflected in a recent interview, Family Matters was revolutionary and regressive at the same time.
Like many things in life, its impact is complicated. Decades later, as streaming services rediscover the series for new generations, perhaps it's time to recognize that behind the canned laughter and catchphrases, there existed a very real battle about representation, identity, and what it truly means to tell authentic Black stories on American television. The Winslow family brought joy to millions, but the path to that cultural impact was paved with difficult compromises, personal sacrifices, and questions that the entertainment industry continues to grapple with today. Are you enjoying this story, Family Matters 1989? Then help the channel with your subscription. Look, 94.8% of the people who watch these videos are still not subscribed to the channel. If you are part of that group, take the chance and subscribe now. It's free, and that way you'll keep receiving amazing stories from TV shows we still miss. Oh, and don't forget, at the end of the video, you'll find more stories like this one. Looking back, said Reginald VelJohnson in a 2022 reunion interview, I'm proud of what we accomplished, but I also recognize what we could have been. Family Matters was more than just Urkel asking, "Did I do that?" It was a mirror reflecting America's complicated relationship with Black families on screen. And that reflection, with all its distortions and clarity, continues to resonate in conversations about representation today, making Family Matters not just a nostalgic sitcom, but an important chapter in television history.